listeners. This is Ivan Franklin Rose, and this is the one on reducing debt, building credit, and getting the best price for almost everything. So there are some tricks to all of it, but let's start with reducing debt. Certainly, having debt can cause stress or anxiety. So we want to do that. Also, if you don't have enough credit, can cause stress or anxiety. So we're going to show you how to do that as well. And then getting things at the right price can relieve stress and anxiety. So it all ties together. So let's talk about reducing debt. So the first thing is there are different types of debt. You can look at credit card debt first and look at the highest percentages. Some of this you may already know, but we're going to cover it anyway. Write down what percentages you have on each credit card. Call each credit card company when you get a moment and ask them if they can reduce the credit limit or if they have any promotions. A lot of times they do, and you can reduce the credit limit if you don't pay, not the credit limit, reduce the credit finance charge, the interest rate, if you don't pay it off in full every month. Now, I pay everything off in full every month best as I can because that way I don't pay interest, but I get all the benefits. And we're going to talk about what kind of credit cards to get those freebies and those benefits a little later on. But when you're trying to reduce the interest rate, if you aren't paying it off in full every month, then you want to get the lowest rate. So call. What's the worst that's going to happen? Same thing as if you didn't call at all. No change. So you write down the interest rates that you're going to finally have. And then when you have extra money, you'll know which one to pay off first. It's just a matter of common sense. Pay off the one that charges the highest interest rate first. That's the best one. Now, in terms of making deals with creditors, if you are behind for any reason, remember that credit bureaus only report when you're more than 30 days behind. So if you are, let's say, 10 days behind, 20 days behind, you don't get reported to the credit bureau. You just have a late fee. And it's, it goes against, they keep an internal score of people that do that. But make sure you don't go 30 days behind. If you're 30 days behind is 2 months past due. So by your second billing statement, when your second bill is due, you must have paid off your first one, or you get reported to the credit bureau, and that ruins a lot of things. You can make a debt with creditors sometimes to pay it off in a certain time period so they don't report it the same way. You could try that, especially hospital debt. You could try to make a deal with hospital debt, and you should make every effort to make sure that your insurance company is paying everything they're supposed to pay on hospital debt. But hospitals can work with you. They just don't like to be ignored. The worst thing you can do when you owe some money is to ignore people. So you don't want to do that. So you make a list of all your debt, and then you also, from time to time, see how you can relieve debt. So how can you do that? Well, one way, there is credit cards that allow you to transfer balances, and they have promotional rates. So when you have a promotional rate of 0 interest or 1.9% interest, for 12 or 18 months, then you can take a high interest rate card, transfer a balance from there to a new card, if you open a new card, and then you're paying less interest and you save money. That's only important if you're not paying it off in full. But know that it's a possibility. It's something you can do. All right? So make a deal with a creditor. Make sure you're not more than 2 cycles behind. Make sure if you can test something in a bureau, if you see something is not right, that you put in a note in a bureau so anybody checking your credit can see that note if you disagree with it. If you have a charge you don't recognize on there or something is not right, reporting is not right, you have the right to request that they prove the reporting. And if they can't prove it in 30 days, they take it off your credit bureau report. It's true. You can request it, and then they write to them, and they have a certain length of time to prove that the debt is real or that whatever they're claiming is real. And if they do prove it, then you do owe it. But if you don't, it comes off your report. So those are things to know. There are special promotions that are run all the time in car loans. Space Coast Credit Union, for example, when you finance a car through them, and they have very low rates, they offer 90 days no payment. In other words, if you want 3 months to pay for your new car, they'll start the payment 3 months from now. That's very nice. They're one of the only people I know that does that. But this can help you because the money you save in not making a car payment can help you apply it towards other debt that you have. You see? It all goes hand in hand. So we can work it that way. Let's talk about other ways that you can relieve debt faster. Do you know in a mortgage or a car payment, you can, even though you're paying interest, hopefully a low interest rate, and you can always check to see if they have a lower interest rate. Always make sure that your rate is the lowest on the market. If not, it may be worth refinancing. But anyway, you can lower your interest rate without doing anything more than splitting your payment in two. I don't know if you knew that, but you can pay twice a month because the interest is based on the principal balance. So when you pay twice a month, the same amount, you're not paying any more, but when you pay twice a month, it lowers the principal balance for the second half of the month. And that means that you're paying less interest. And you'll pay your house off in 23 years instead of 30 years, or you'll pay, your car off faster. So this is really something to look into. All you have to do is set it up on automatic payment. You have your bank set it up that it comes out automatically twice a month. You don't have to do anything more than just one call to set it up. And look at all the money you can save that you can be paying towards other bills. So these are all little tricks to help you. So that's as far as debt's concerned. Keep track of it. Make sure you have the lowest rate. Make any deal for interest rate reduction you can. Pay off the lowest interest rate first. And just try to keep abreast of everything. Keep track of everything. And then pay your mortgage and your car twice a month. All right, that's as far as debt is concerned. You can also use sometimes new financing, lines of credit on your home. I just want to add, if the rate is low, for example, Fifth Third Bank ran a promotion that I took advantage of. 1.9%, 1.99% for the first year, and then after that, it went to 0.75 over prime. But for the first year, I got money for 1.99%, and I make 14% of my money. And so therefore, I made the VIG, the difference. Anytime you can borrow money cheaper than money you can be guaranteed to make, percentage-wise, do it. I mean, it's a no-brainer. You make money on the VIG. So there are deals like that. Now, in your case, you could take that money at 1.99% and pay off existing debt that's 19%, 23%, or whatever it is, and give you some time to work that out. So that's something to keep abreast of. What specials are going on? When you get offers in the mail for low lines of credit on your home, don't throw it away without opening it. Look at it and see what's what. There are other ways to make money to reduce debt. And there are bank offers where they'll offer you up to $600 for putting some money in an account for 1 month or 2 months. So you look at what that is compared to the interest of carrying that. So how much money are you making? What does it come out to an interest rate for holding that money in there for 2 months, whether it's $1,000, $10,000, whatever it is that's required to make the money? I know the Citibank is running something to make up to $2,000. So you have to look at what you're making, how many months you have to leave it in the bank before you can take it out, and how that is compared to the interest you're going to pay on the money that that you're not paying off on a card. Let's say you had extra money, you were going to pay it off on a card, but you're doing this instead. So how much interest do you lose versus how much extra money do you gain income on putting the money in the bank on those bank promotions? Chase is running it all the time. So many banks are running it and don't require a lot all the time. So you have to look at that. Look at every offer to see whether it makes sense. Always look at what you're losing and what you're gaining. Compare it against the interest you have to pay by not paying that extra money to pay off the interest versus what you're making. Okay, that takes care of those ideas. Let's talk about building credit. So it's important to build credit early. I teach people to have their kids start credit right in college, immediately, with credit cards that they can control, credit, even small amounts and small limits. But it helps build it so that when they graduate, they're able to get a home or anything they want. They have great credit, cars, home, whatever it be. Start building credit early. Department store cards, probably the easiest way to start. They're probably the easiest to get. But look at the credit card and see which ones are the best to start with. Oh, and also don't apply for a credit card just before you're getting a car loan. One of my friends just did that. We went to get her a car, went to the dealer. She thought she had a credit score of 747 and found out because she got a credit score, it was down to 698. Luckily, one of her bureaus was 702, and the dealer could use that to help get her a little better rate, but still it was less than the rate. It was less if she had a higher credit score, so she paid more. So basically, you want to know what you're doing in the next few months before you apply for any credit to make sure that you're not going to have a lower score for doing so. But there are lots of cards, and they offer so many benefits, and you have to know what perks you want. And you can do certain things on it. So certain cards, like Bank of America has a travel card, and they give you 1% back, or 1.5% back that's applied to travel expenses. And this is restaurant charges, parking charges, any travel expenses, hotel, airfare. So that's their card. Some cards give you 2% back on all expenditures, doesn't matter which. Other cards give you 3% back on groceries or 5% back on this or that. They have different things they give you more percent back on. So you have to look and see what the offer is and which card resonates to you. If you travel, well, airline cards are very powerful. I'll tell you why. If you get an extra 60, 70,000 miles from Delta or American to get a card right away, this can give you a lot of trips. Delta has trips from Florida to New York for as low as 5,000 miles. So the reason that airline cards are important, you get these big bonuses, of course, but the thing with it is you can use the miles to book airline flights when you're not sure of your trip, right? And you can book multiple days and multiple times and then cancel before the flight time when you know you're not going to take that. But it's much cheaper to book in advance on miles, fully cancelable, than it is to wait and pay for a ticket when you know what your travel dates are exactly. So guess at it and book with those miles. Miles are so precious if you're a traveler to do that. I book sometimes 10 different dates that I'm not sure I'm going to go, and I cancel the ones that I'm not sure, and they're fine with it. That's what they allow you to do. Also, the credit cards help you to get status. So on Delta, on American Airlines, on all these cards, you can, by spending money, putting your business expenses on there and everything you can, even if you paid off in full every month, you can qualify for status, which gets you upgraded to first class for free. And you get all kinds of rewards. For American, for example, American Airlines, when you spend, depending what you're spending, when you spend a certain amount, they give you free tickets to go to the lounge, free chits to go to the lounge. They give you, or a $250 travel credit to travel. You get all kinds of perks. So you can analyze, if you're a traveler, which card to get, who's giving you the most miles, who's competing with each other, and look online, look in the mail. So that's those cards. But there's a lot of other kind of cards. Chase Sapphire card, there's great cards. Now, true, there are fees. Now, look at the American Express card. It gives you lounge privileges in all the airports to Delta Lounge and the American Express Centurion Lounge, and to Select Pass lounges around the world. But it's $650 or so. But they give you $400 credit to spend on Dell a year, $200 upgrade credit on the airline of your choice, the business platinum card for American Express, and they give you 35% back on your airline charges. When you book with points, you get back 35%. It's like getting a 35% discount on all your airline booking of your chosen airline. Unbelievable. Plus, any first-class airline you book, no matter what your chosen airline is, they give you 35% back on that as well. Can you imagine getting a 35% discount on airline tickets? Unbelievable and unheard of anywhere else. So there are benefits to all cards. You have to explore which is the right one to make money with. How do you make money with it? And you can make money with it. Delta gives you privileges when you spend so much and you get status with them. You can get cash put in your account, up to $500. So there's a lot of ways to make money with these cards that pay for these fees. You just have to look for it. Plus, Delta gives companion tickets, 2-for-1 companion tickets. This saves you tons of money. Just think of the benefits if you're a traveler. So that's something to look at. Anyway, there are many cards offered, many privileges, and you just have to see what's good for you. But you can make money with these cards if you have the credit to get them. And that's why it's important to build credit and have credit and keep credit. And you keep credit by paying your bill on time every month. I don't think they monitor if you pay it early. I don't think that's on there. The credit card companies like that, but I don't think the Bureau cares. But as long as you're paying your payment on time and you don't go over limit, make sure, it's very important for your credit score, make sure that you don't go over your limit at the time that the reporting is at the end of your cycle. So, for example, if your statement closes on the 12th, it may report on the 15th or 16th. So you want to know when it reports to the Bureau, even after your payment date. So your closing statement is when they report it. Make sure that you're not over your limit. So you could have charged some things inadvertently and you didn't realize you're over your limit, but you want to pay that down. So let's say your statement said you owe a certain amount, but you really owe more than that because you charged more than that during the time period after that statement had closed before and gave you that amount. So you may owe more than that. So check your balance. Don't go over limit because that looks bad on your credit report. They report it as being over limit. These are just things to check with, and check to make sure that you pay your balances when they're due as much as possible. If you're a day late, call the credit card company and ask them to make a one-time exception. It works usually if you haven't done it too much, and you ask for their permission to waive the late fees and the charges and all of that as best as they can do. So these are things to be cognizant of. Let's talk about how to get the best deals on everything. So for hotels, for example, Hilton has something called the March of Dimes rate. It's either in a group or non-group rate. Sometimes it's in one, sometimes it's the other, but you can ask them for the March of Dimes. That's the charity rate. They have a rate for that, and the rate is sometimes 50%. So ask for that rate. If you're military government, ask for the military government rate. Senior citizen, ask for the senior citizen rate. Hotels have that. And rails have that too. Trains have that as well. There are discounts for many reasons. Corporations have discounts. Verizon has discounts. Whatever corporation you have a part of or you're a piece of in any way, make sure that you check to see if they have any kind of rates at hotels and meetings. Another thing is a lot of airlines offer discounts of 5 to 10%. For meeting discounts. So what you do is if you're going to a city, find out what meetings are being held in the convention centers in those cities, and then find out the codes for the meeting rates, and you can use that for that. You can call. I just did a purchase on Dell, and I asked them to make is there any discount they can give me on the price? It wasn't mentioned online. But he said yes, and he gave me a 6% discount at his own discretion and will because I asked for it. So sometimes asking for an extra discount, even shopping online at stores, sometimes they have extra discounts, and they can give you those extra discounts. If you ask for them, they have a code they can put in. Ask, it doesn't hurt. Always greet a customer service agent with, "How are you today?" That always starts them off in the right mood, and wait for their response, so you're sincere. Department stores will let you know when they have sales if you get a private shopper to tell you when they have sales. Neiman Marcus has 75% off a couple of times a year. Bloomingdale's 60% off, and Nordstrom the same. So always look for those sales times. Labor Day and like now, there's sales going on for appliances. Be aware of what is the best time to buy a particular item. And just be aware and cognizant of your discounts for anything you need to buy. If you're waiting for something and you can wait long enough to check it out, you can have these sales on these holidays for new phones. The best new sales, Thanksgiving, Black Friday, things like that. Electronics after the first of the year. So, and anyway, getting the best price means asking questions of the people you're calling, to summarize here, and seeing if they can do anything for you, like I did on the Dell one. And changing reservations. The last thing I want to share is we had my nephew had a flight and he wanted to change the time, and there was no reason that the airline had to do it. They wanted to charge him $1,200 a person to change the time to an earlier time that day, and we just asked for permission to do it and to find any reason. So the flight happened to be delayed for 12 minutes, and that's not enough. Airlines will not give you a free change for 12 minutes, but we asked nicely, and the agent did it. They changed it and saved him $1,200 a person, him and his wife, $2,400, just because they asked nicely, and we laughed about, could you possibly do a one-time exception? So again, take your shot, ask the question, ask for the one-time exception, ask for any codes they might have, look for the sales, get your private shoppers, get notified, and save tons of money and alleviate stress and anxiety. And with that, we're going to bid you goodbye. Have a wonderful day, and remember to begin and end each day with a smile.